Hiya, welcome to the Walking Tower. I'm Analia, your spiritual translator. I'm an emotional and spiritual health coach, part-time witch, and your no-fuckery tour guide through the shadows of your psyche. I started my journey as a skeptic, and if you give me a few minutes of your time, I'd like to show you some things that might just start your journey being a recovering skeptic too. As part of the show, I'm going to be talking to some interesting men about their own journey, their passions, their experiences, and their connection to themselves. It's my hope to build a source of entertainment that can also provide some helpful skills that we can carry with us into the chaos of this current world. So let's get into the show. My first chat was with the one and only Swoop Luke, a Leo stellium with a passion for AFL, amongst other things. Specifically, the long-term relationship he is in with the Collingwood Football Club. I hope you enjoy it.
So looking into your birth chart was so interesting. It really
Okay.
was. So, I mean, I found you through Terry, and the way
Yep.
that I found Terry was just magical on its own. I had been on this research rabbit hole about the difference between masculine energy and feminine energy
Mhm.
because I used to be, when I in my younger days, one of those type of angry feminists. And so when I sort of started having that turnaround, I was like, okay, there's something else going on here. And I went down that rabbit hole. And then my partner was like, okay, that thing that you were talking about, masculine energy, the other day, I've got a story for you. And sort of started telling me a bit about the football, right?
Yep.
AFL and why, because that generation, your generation as well, right? Like it means something different to you guys than it meant to older men.
Yeah.
And it's
Yep.
like there are less men's spaces these days where men can have their emotions, but the football has still remained that. And
Yeah.
because your generation is the one that got completely fucked when it came to being this transition age of trying to grow up into men while the world is screaming about toxic masculinity and
Yeah.
don't be masculine, it was this confusing space. And it was interesting to me that the football still remained this space where men could have feelings and be okay with that and go and meet
Yeah.
with other men and it was fine. And so then when I got into the Carlton Football Club journey, it just kind of blew my mind that it could just the story of it was like insane. And because when I came in, it was they had just started that streak in 2022. So I had to
Yes.
go and
Yep.
then find out that like they had done terribly up until this point and that this was their like best moment ever. Watching that emotional journey through all of the fans was incredible. And so one night I was on YouTube and I got sent the video of Terry and Pom having a conversation that was
Yep.
sort of along the lines of, the emotional outlay that you can have when you're watching football. And I was like, I need to talk to this man. And so I got in contact with Pom and he and I ended up having like a 2 or 3 hour conversation.
Wow. Yep.
And I was like, okay, this is something. When he started your show, the show that you guys do together, the way
Yep.
that that played into where his energy was going, he's somebody who brings people together with a shared love. And
Yep.
so like it all lined up so beautifully. And then I was very drawn to you and your connection to the Collingwood Football Club because Collingwood have an incredible energy story that I've only just started like going through the layers of because I've been in the
Okay.
Carlton one for so long.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
so I was like, I need to know the difference here because obviously, in my opinion, Collingwood have done all the right things and they're reaping the rewards, and Carlton haven't done any of the right things and they are getting all of the lessons. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
so, like I started my AFL journey by getting the birth charts of every single player
Oh
and
wow.
getting the overall information of the birth of the club and the overall energy of the club. So I started off there. And so I've got like a spreadsheet of everybody. And so
Jeez.
looking at looking at the energies is so interesting. Collingwood are an Aquarius energy team, right? Which they definitely are.
Okay.
Aquarius energy is the energy of the outliers, the rebels, the ones that are very good at pivoting. They're very good at being able to see things from a different perspective. The
Yeah.
way they
Yep. Yeah.
communicate is through that as well. Like part of the job of the Collingwood Football Club is to kind of teach people that it's okay to be your weird self.
Yep.
And their journey coming from darkness, so coming through like having to learn lessons of being made to feel shame, being misunderstood for their energy, being made to feel guilty of things, overcoming that, and then moving towards stability and abundance and like a safe space for everybody, which I think is just on point for their energy
Yeah,
journey.
yeah. No, it does sound like,
And
yeah,
yeah. And my favorite part of Discovery is one of the things that I say about Collingwood is I think their coach is the perfect coach for them currently.
yeah, yeah,
And based on the energy of the team and all of the players across all of the teams in the AFL, there are a number of teams that have this perfect match. And Collingwood are one of them. And when I got into their birth chart information, the energy of the whole team, their discipline energy is in Virgo energy. And Craig is a Virgo. So the way that
Oh,
he speaks to the energy of the team is like on point, and that just amazing. The other interesting thing was we had a massive energy kind of ending in May, and I made like a Carlton video about it, and I was like, I need to know what's the opposing thing here. If this was Carlton's journey and they've done terribly and now they're getting lessons,
yeah,
Collingwood must have done the other thing. And so from May 2022 until November 2023, we sort of
yeah,
wrote this contract with the universe. We asked for we want something, and the universe said, sure, you can have it. But then it didn't tell us the fine print of the lessons that we had to learn along the way. And
yeah,
then
right,
that period of time in May this year came to an end. And it was sort of the result then being, okay, well, here are the lessons you still need to learn. So for Carlton, that was the game against GWS that they did not show up in, and the
yeah,
results have shown what the results are. And for Collingwood, during that time, obviously they'd started with their new coach, and the deal that they made with the universe was to be sort of open to change, like willing to burn whatever needed to burn and to
yep,
start fresh. And so I think that that's what they chose to do. They got the coach, and I think they've had that journey. They swapped captains as well, I think,
yeah, we
Pendlebury
did.
for Darcy.
Well, Darcy
And
Moore, yep.
yeah, and Darcy Moore is an Aquarius as well. So the
Oh,
way that
right,
his energy,
how are just all
yeah,
aligned is wild.
yes, yeah, it's crazy. And so he is very important part of the team because he embodies that whole entire energy system of be weird and be fucking proud of it and
Yeah,
just be who
100%.
you are. And so I think the mix of that and the mix of Craig was like the perfect thing. And the universe just went, perfect, you're going to learn from this. And then they do learn from that. And they are absolutely the absolute kings of pivoting and adapting, and the fact that they now have their coach, because he's a Virgo energy, so his energy is very good at noticing details. And because Aquarius energy is I mean, it's got a lot of ego behind it because it's very good at what it does, and it chases perfection, and it wants to be very good at being its individual self. And so the sort of coach that that energy needs is someone who can notice the details, so that when they're giving feedback, they're not saying, oh, hey, you're terrible. They're specifically pointing out this could be better, this could be better, this could be better. And when you're coming up against that kind of confident ego that the Collingwood energy has,
Yeah.
that works because they don't shut down going like, how dare you? They're like, oh, that's interesting. And that energy wants to know the
Mm.
details. And so the perfect thing, the first way I experienced their energy was, if you compare sort of like the other Aquarius energy team is Richmond. And so when you look at the difference, you're like, somebody needs to wrangle those personalities and show them where they shine. And that's what a Virgo energy can do. It can like look at the details and wrangle it all together. And it allows people to still
Mm.
shine and still be the ego and still have the confidence, but they know their part. And so I don't think they're not quite ready, but they did just get a Virgo coach as well. So I'm very interested in their journey next
Oh,
year.
that's good. Well, it's funny you say that because Craig McRae did coach Richmond's VFL side as well.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Wow. I didn't know that. That's really
yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah. And so and he's got that calm exterior as well, which is exactly what you need when you're coming up against such big personalities. And
yeah,
so
yeah,
I think their whole deal with the universe, they have learned what they needed to learn. And I don't know what show it was on of Terry's, but somebody said Collingwood has become Carlton and Carlton has become Collingwood. Like, as in, Collingwood has gone forward and learned, and like they're heading towards stability, whereas Carlton are kind of they've lost their mind and they've stuck their heels in, and they're not making any changes and they're not evolving. And so
yeah,
they've not gone backwards, they're just stuck. And Collingwood are like way out in front. which is so interesting to me.
Yeah, that does make a little bit of sense though, 100%.
Yeah, yeah. So then when I look at your birth chart, just yours alone, I can already see where that connection kind of fits in. You are extremely Leo, extremely Leo. You are Leo Sun, Mercury, Venus. And so that is your ego self, who you are, how you shine your light, the way you communicate with people, the way that you build relationships with people is all in this Leo energy. And
Okay.
so Leo energy is on the opposite end of the axis to Aquarius. So there is already a connection within that energy. Leo is ruled by the sun, so it sits in the center, and Aquarius is on the outside. So it's on the outside looking in, and Leo is on the inside looking out, but they still kind of see things in the same kind of way, still lit up, still understanding the collective, understanding your effect on the collective as well. And so there's this component of you that really builds your inner belief system and helps transform your ego and your creative self whenever you're allowed to have the sun shine on you, whenever you feel like the sun is shining on you and that you get to be yourself. That's your most effective way of making change. And so when it comes down to how you do that, you are somebody, your masculine energy, your Mars is in Taurus, which Taurus is a very hardworking energy. It's very much like once I know what I'm doing, I'm head down and I'm
Yeah.
doing the work. And I understand that, hard work pays off. Okay. And that is something which I found very interesting when I looked at this and had seen that you sort of had really started kicking off at the gym again. Your masculine energy is in your sixth house, which is your relationship with your body. And so, because that's Taurus energy, it's like you being someone who does things for your body is the best way to connect. Because it's
Ooh.
like there is the way that your body would speak to you about what it needs would be a language that you could very easily learn
Yeah,
because it's
right.
in its most, yeah. So, like, you'd be someone who kind of knows, oh, I need to eat this sort of a food today. I'm really feeling like that. Or I need to rest today. And like those things, those messages would come through very
Yeah.
clearly. Yeah.
Yeah, they do, they do, they
Yeah.
actually do, yeah.
Yeah. So, time of birth, I put you down so that we've got a Sagittarius rising because that feels correct to me because it means that you're sort of somebody who people see as direct, right? Like you make a plan and you go for it.
Yep.
And like regardless of what comes along the way, we're doing it. We're going that way. We're learning the lessons either way. And the other part that I thought fit really well, there was two other parts. One I'll have to ask you a question about.
Mhm.
But that puts your second house in Capricorn, right? And that's your house of worth. And so Capricorn energy in the house of worth is like you feel better about yourself when you are working consistently and when you feel like you've put in the hard work,
Yeah.
when you
Yep.
feel like you've worked very hard. Now, the other one, and this one can be a little bit personal, but a fourth house in Pisces or family history, generally on the mother's side, has experienced a lot of trauma. And we're going to go with that then. I'm going to say yes.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah,
Yeah,
100
right.
100%.
Yeah,
100
okay, perfect.
100%.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to say that I'm correct.
Yeah, yeah, I'll say that you're
Yeah.
correct as well.
Okay. So, I mean, that does come with some positives. The fourth house in Pisces can be really difficult because, like I said, it is a history of family trauma, generally through the mother's line. But through that, you gain this ability to really be able to use and overcome traumatic situations to use that for power, to
Okay.
see that as a positive. It gives you the ability to really sit with something that hurts and understand how that needs to be felt and moved on from, which is
Yeah, no,
fantastic.
100%. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. When I look at water placements in a chart, I can see where you're absorbent to kind of other people's feelings. And so when you have a fourth house in Pisces, it means that around family, you are quite absorbent to trauma energy from other people. So it would
Yep.
be exhausting to kind of be around a big number of family because you are just sponging that in. Yeah. And so then your eighth house in Cancer, because water energy is spiritual energy as well. So eighth house in Cancer means that you transform when you feel nurtured, when you feel loved, when you feel safe. That's where you can transform your life.
Mhm.
And you have a 12th house in Scorpio, and that is a very mystical placement. So,
Okay.
12th house in Scorpio, 12th house is your subconscious, it's the unconscious, it's the things that are hidden from you. And Scorpio energy is spiritual energy, but from darkness. So when you have the fourth house in Pisces, mother line of trauma, and you learn through that trauma to be able to overcome it and transform, 12th house in Scorpio allows you to use that darkness for power. And so for the next year, we'll be like sort of learning how to activate those sorts of things.
Okay.
Again, it's also another placement that is very heavy around people because it makes you can really feel people's shame, guilt, those sorts of things. When you're around groups of people, you can kind of feel that. And you have an 11th house Libra, which does make it easier to be around people, like groups of people you can kind of find a balance and like be chatty and be able to be part of the group. But there is this component that is quite heavy afterwards. And one of the things that you probably already do is use music to
Yeah.
kind of get that feeling out. Somebody
Did
with
you
this kind
did
of,
you know
yeah,
did you know that, or did you guess that?
I'm just
Or
knowing
like
it from your birth chart.
well, yeah, I used to play in a bunch of bands and stuff, and I used music. I was a guitarist and a
Stunning.
singer, so I used music a lot, especially in the
Yeah.
car and stuff like that
Yeah.
as a form of therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is therapy for somebody with this sort of like all of my clients who have a version of this sort of water placement. I always suggest, when you're around big groups of family or when you're around big groups of people, to always allow yourself some time alone afterwards with music or some kind of creative outlet. Because one of the positives of Pisces energy being the predominant kind of trauma space is that it doesn't need to understand the feeling, it just needs to get it out. And
Yeah,
so
right.
when you use creative things to do that, it will come out and then you can feel a little bit better. So one of the challenges in your birth chart is your wounding. So there's two wound placements that I like to look at. One is like the childhood wound, and one is kind of a place of being made to feel like shame or guilt or being constantly misunderstood. A Saturn placement and a moon placement on your birth chart kind of tells me how you experienced your parents' energy as a child, right?
Yeah.
So a Saturn in Aquarius, it tells me that like the way that you experienced your father energy growing up was either not around at all or someone who was very different as an outlier. And the way that you experienced him affected the way you kind of found your voice and felt comfortable speaking. And the way that you experienced your mother energy was sort of a focus on making sure we showed up okay without giving away too much of the secrets, without giving
Yeah.
away too much of the darkness. And so then when you look at the wound story in the birth chart, the placement is called Chiron, and it's the childhood wound that you create these emotional programs around between the ages of 3 and 23, and you sort of hold on to those emotional programs. And so yours is in Leo energy, which is very challenging because you are a Leo. But it's like this is how your inner belief system gets built, is overcoming this. And a Chiron in Leo is a childhood wound of not really feeling like you have the right to have your creative projects put out into the world. It's like a constant battle to be able to be seen. And it's sort of at some point during that time, you maybe did something that you felt very good about, and there just was nobody around to kind of tell you that it was great. And so the
Mm,
child version of you sort of creates this program over the top that says, okay, well, we're just not going to do it. We're just not going to do it if we're not meant to be doing it. And that mixes with your place of dark emotions, which is in Aquarius. And that sort of tells you that you've had a lot of experiences of feeling too weird, too different, too strange, and being kind of made to feel very misunderstood in how your energy comes across. And when I'm looking at like these kind of Leo energies, generally it's like growing up, especially as a teenager, you sort of get really aware of whether people think you're egotistical or not, whether people
mm,
think you're confident. Is it confidence? Is it ego? And there's this misunderstanding around it. And when it works with that childhood wound, it can make it really difficult to be able to then come forward and put your creative projects out into the world because you already have this underlying belief that nobody wants to hear it, that it's no good. And
yeah,
so the fact
yeah,
that you do what you do, like you are already overcoming that. And the more that you continue to do that, the more power you will find in that energy,
yeah.
specifically the Aquarius placements. So you are here to have your voice heard 100%. You're somebody who is here to help people understand that their weird qualities are what make them powerful. And the way that you communicate with people helps shine a light of confidence into their inner belief system. And just you speaking to them would do that. And the more that you trust your weirdness and your authentic energy, the more power will come through that. And especially because your Saturn is in Aquarius in the third house, that there is almost a disciplined energy with how people hear you. That what you're saying to them is a rule, is a fact, is something that they should believe. And so when you're helping people with confidence and you're trying to give them a pep talk, it kind of hits different to a lot of other
Mm,
people. There's something behind it. And the thing that's behind it is people can feel what you've overcome to get to
yeah.
that confidence. And that is where your energy overlaps with the Collingwood Football Club, is this placement of needing to be disciplined about loving your weird side, your authentic side. Because your Saturn in Aquarius, your discipline energy, your inner belief system in Aquarius, and that's the same energy that obviously Collingwood is in. So there is something within how they go about being confident about being the weirdos that resonates with you, and they speak in the language of the way that you speak, third house Aquarius, this confident, very strange, very authentic way. And their Leo energy, which is where yours lines up, is their emotional side, and also their fun, the way that they have fun
Mm,
is in your energy as well. So it's like, because we have this attraction where there is joy involved, you can then take the lessons in the discipline of being authentic. And so the way that that lines up is just so beautiful, so perfect.
I love that. I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So we have got Collingwood playing the Adelaide Crows on the 16th of August. Let's talk about that. We obviously don't have the team lineups, but I can tell you that Collingwood, an Aquarius energy team, playing Adelaide, a Gemini energy team, is a very interesting lineup because we currently have a new cycle that is an 84-year cycle, which is Uranus now moving into Gemini. So that empowers the Collingwood football team on a number of levels. Our energy is the thinker. So with Uranus in Gemini, this will allow the Collingwood football team to be in an even better position to be able to think. So that would be good, right? Well, the Aquarius energy of the Collingwood team is currently under the grips of the king of the underworld because Pluto is in Aquarius and it is retrograding. So, when the energy of Pluto retrogrades, what that means for our psyche is that we are being sent into the darkness to uncover things that we hid away, things that we fear, things that give us power that we didn't even know we had. And so currently, the energy of the Collingwood football team is sort of revising where it gets its power from. And it will be looking back over things from the past that it potentially got wounds that made it hide that rebellious side of it, made it hide that authentic weirdo side of it. And they overall, that collective is really looking into that. Individuals are looking into that in a number of different ways as well. So there is a number of different effects. Okay. When we look at the Adelaide team, which are a Gemini team, they currently have chaos, forcing them forward to evolve, forcing them forward into revolution. And Gemini energy is already very quick. That is what makes Adelaide quite good. The overall energy of that team, they are very fast thinkers and very fast on their feet. So they get the same empowering kind of energy with Uranus moving into Gemini. They do not have the overall energy of being sent into the dark by the king of the fucking underworld, though. So we can then look at the energy of the day. Who is uplifted by the energy of the day? Which team? So when I look at the energy of the day, we're in this kind of very stable emotional space as long as we feel safe, right? So if we feel safe within the group, then we are in a stable space. And from that stable space, we can dig our heels in and we can work hard. So the energy of that day at the time that the game will be on is a bit of a fight energy. It's a bit of a stubborn energy. It is the energy of ego coming up against a really stubborn mentality. And that stubborn mentality will either look like we're doing it my way or I'm not doing it. Or in its more positive, it's going to look like I feel safe here. So I'm going to put my heels in and work. So there's a lot of having to rethink the way you do things, rethink the way you shine, right? Our childhood wound spaces within our psyche are open right now. And there's an aspect at 9 o'clock, which will start rolling in while the game is on. And that aspect is the childhood wound opening up, and it's asking us to find stability by being curious about how that hid some shit away from us. Okay. Now, earlier that day, we've got some really positive energy, and there is potentially a lot of kind of secretive energy coming out. So, individuals could have faced having to change the way that they thought their day would go based on a bit of stress from the mornings. Okay. So, positive effects of this energy of the day that they are playing, they're going to be Jeremy Howe, Daniel McStay, Darcy Cameron, Tom Wilson, Patrick Lipinski, right? They're all being empowered to be, a little bit more hardworking, right? They're a little bit more pushed forward. If they're feeling secure in their place within the team, which I think Collingwood has kind of got under control right now, then that will make them quite powerful when it comes to being able to move forward. Okay. Then we can also look at the other energies that are currently uplifted. So Tom Mitchell, Tim Membry, Charlie Dean, Ed Allen, okay, as well as Brody Myercheck, Darcy Moore, Bobby Hill, and Ned Long. So they have some really great energy. Some questionable energy will be Bo McCreary, whether or not he's really living by his own internal rule structure, because there's a lot of traumatic information coming up. Jamie Elliott should be ready to shine. The confusion that he's been dealing with over the past couple of weeks, there's like been a kind of a blockage to the way that he sees things. That component has been mostly cleared. And his mind actually is going to be quite stable under the energy of that day. So I think we can really expect him to be able to be at his best. And then when we sort of have a little look at who might be struggling under this childhood wound situation, it's going to be people that have really been quite critical of themselves, right? And so there's a number of people who'll be dealing with that kind of an energy and could really just be a bit distracted by it, all right? So we're talking about people like, Ned Long, but he should be able to think his way through it, all right? Now, Daniel McStay and Darcy Cameron, they might struggle a little bit more with being able to work their way through it. They're a little bit more emotionally driven. Patrick Lipinski, a little bit the same, a little bit more emotionally driven, and could have a bit more of a hard time overcoming the distraction of the childhood wound. All right. Tim Membry as well, but I think his mind will be back to its sharpest. And I think there will be more of a stubbornness and a fierceness to his masculine energy, which I think will help push him through. Jack Crisp, if he's playing, could also just be a little bit in his head. Okay, so let's look at the Adelaide team. So a Gemini team. So this Gemini energy has had its ruling planet slowing it down very recently. And so even though they've been playing very well, now that they are not slowed down, this is going to give them more power. Okay. Now, there is a challenge because the Gemini energy is a fast moving air energy, and the Taurus energy, which is the main component of the day, is a slow moving earth energy. So there isn't really a compatibility there. Okay. So when we look at some of the players on the Adelaide team, Jake Berry, Jake Saligo, and Sam Berry, the Aquarius energies are likely to be quite uplifted, especially Jake Saligo. He is really being pointed to his future in some really unexpected ways by this current energy. And so part of what he's going through right now is really trying to bring a little bit of chaos to an inner belief system that has potentially stopped him from being his best. Okay. Now, we can expect a lot of fire from Joshua Kelly, Jordan Dawson, Josh Worrell. Okay. I think there could be a little bit of a distracting energy for some of them. I think we may really see that Jordan Dawson might not be quite at his most fiery. These people that are going to be uplifted by the extra hard work, Riley Tilthorpe, Braden Cook, Mitch Hinge, James Borlays. Now, especially Mitch Hinge. He is going to be a huge problem for the Collingwood football team. He is going to be fast. His mind is going to be sharp and stubborn. I think we can expect him to be being very aggressive. And he could be dragged down a little bit by past woundings and past traumas kind of coming up. but he does have the capacity to be able to turn that into power. So if he is on his game and he taps into this energy, he's going to be a huge problem for the Collingwood Football Club because he's going to be fierce and he's going to be fast. Shane McAdam, Luke Dankervis, Isaac Cumming, Riley O'Brien, James Peatling, all of those people have a number of energies that bring them fire, that bring them confidence, ego, a lot of ego, okay, and some very fast moving energy. So I think you can really be expecting a number of these people to be fast, to be egotistical under this energy. There is a risk to these very fiery, very fast moving energy that ego could be a problem. So last week when Collingwood played, that was an ego test for both the Hawks and for Collingwood. And the outcome of that will determine any ego lessons moving forward. I haven't seen anything yet that leads me to believe otherwise, but I do think there was something in the way that the Jack Silvani conversation went down that got them that little ego lesson. So this one is not so much an ego lesson. It's more about, are you aligning with the relationships you have inside of your team dynamic? And do they let you feel confident and powerful enough to be the most hardworking version of yourself? Now, the Aquarius energy of the Collingwood team will be more aligned with that than the Gemini energy because there is a depth of emotion that is required, and Gemini energy, not great at the depth of emotion. Matt Crouch, Luke Pedler, Tex Walker, and Isaac Rankine. Isaac Rankine is going to be very sharp of mind and very stubborn and ready to do the hard work. He is somebody who can see things from a different perspective, and he is currently having where he's heading in his future given an extra bump of luck and an extra bump of take a risk and it will pay off. They do have a few people throughout them that might have some issues with dealing with the wound. Rory Lard a little bit, but he is very hardworking. I can't see that affecting him. I feel like he is somebody who will just be able to turn that off and get through the game and actually be using the actual football to kind of work through some of those feelings. Shane McAdam as well, if he's playing, he could be a little bit self-judgmental about some things. Then Isaac Cumming and Riley O'Brien, they could be getting an ego lesson and they could be really in their head. Ben Keys could also face some of those issues. He may have had some things come up over the past week that could be quite distracting. Now, if he's worked through those things, he will be trouble. Okay. So I think it's a pretty even match when it comes to Adelaide, the Gemini team, coming up against Collingwood, the Aquarius team. Both of the teams have a really good mix of fire, of hard work, of smart mouth, fast legs, and also of ego components. All right. They have a number of players who are quite healing to be around as well. So it's going to be a really even mix depending on, who gets picked. So I'm just going to put it out there. Bobby Hill needs to get picked. His energy will be on fire if you pick him. There is no longer this energy of distraction around. So hopefully he's ready to go. He should have been really facing a number of old wounds when it comes to where he's chosen to move forward in life, how he's chosen to expand. And there would have been just over the past couple of weeks, a heavy judgment on that. We are moving away from that. And there is more of a positive energy to the way that he kind of finds his discipline. So hopefully he's playing. That will give Collingwood a little bit of an extra kick. So the three players of the Collingwood team that I would expect to really get a lot out of the energy that's available to them is going to be Steele Sidebottom, is going to be Tim Membry. And I think also we're going to see a lot of good energy coming from Patrick Lipinski. All right. Those are the three that I would choose from the Collingwood team. And from Adelaide, I think Mitch Hinge is going to be on it. Jake Saligo is also going to be really, really on it. And I think Riley Tilthorpe as well. There's just a number of very stable people on either team as well. And those are, those are your Nick Dacosses, those are your Rory Lards, Jordan Butts. There are just certain players that are quite down to earth that are the solid foundation. And those comparisons will be pretty even as well. So it really will be the people that have the ability to tap into this higher energy that is available to them that are going to have to shine, because I think otherwise and the matchups will be pretty close.
So interestingly, for both Collingwood and for you, we are currently in a Virgo Pisces eclipse axis, but next year it will be Leo Aquarius. And when you have your overall energy systems as part of the eclipses, it is like your life will definitely be changing, hands down, without a doubt in the world.
So
So
that's
anything that,
next year.
yeah, so we're on the build up to that now. So what's being activated for you right now is we've just had Jupiter move into Cancer, which for you, stunning because it's opening up your ability to transform things. It's opening up your ability to kind of expand. And because of your family history, it's helpful in a way that it sort of helps you expand your individual idea of family and safety. And so it allows you to kind of be open to receiving like new people coming in, new ideas of how to kind of feel nurtured in that space. And so with that transformation window open for a year, you've got access to like luck for what much better luck when it comes to wanting to make change, wanting to see things differently. And like even if that means for you, because one of your skills would absolutely be like fucking burn it to the ground, start again.
Yeah.
Burn it to the ground,
Yeah.
start again. And
Yeah.
so it will help you with that space as well. And so then we had Uranus move to Gemini, and this one is just off the chain incredible for bringing change. And for you, that sits in your seventh house of partnerships. So that's business partnerships, that's also relationships, both romantic, family, and personal relationships. And so for the next, and this is an 8-year transition, for the
Wow.
next 8 years, we're in this energy of you being really open to having new relationships come in. And a lot of my clients who've got a seventh house Gemini have very recently met someone that they think is the one.
Yeah,
Like,
which is what's happened to me recently. So
oh my God,
yeah.
amazing. Perfect. Yeah. So, like, Uranus is like very quick change. It's like being able to sort of see something from a different perspective. And the way that that energy kind of works in us is we get this kind of pressure to something needs to change, something needs to happen. And it's almost as if someone is running around in your mind, moving pieces around, and you're unaware of it. And then it's one day, it just kind of smacks you, and you're like, okay, something's shifted. And so with that happening in your house of partnerships, I'm not surprised that you've met you've met somebody, because that's what that energy is here for. And so there's
Yep.
8 years of that. So if you're meeting someone at the start of that, that's somebody who is here to help you transform things in your life, help you, really be curious about other sides of who you are as a person, which is stunning, which is really nice at the beginning of that journey. And so we've got Saturn and Neptune who have also moved to Aries. And for you, that's in your fifth house of fun, which is amazing because it means that the journey that you have started on is for fun predominantly. Whether or
Yeah.
not it's got other things, it's something that brings you a lot of joy.
Yep.
And so that energy, we shifted in a couple of different ways. So at the end of March, we were sort of released from generational and ancestral kind of trauma stuff, like as if a cord was cut. We still kind of had a backpack on of the shadow of the ghost and those sorts of things. We're still carrying that around a little bit, but we aren't connected to it anymore. There's a lighter energy to those sorts of ideas, right? And especially for you with the history in your family, it just lightens that a little bit. It's a disconnection, it's still there, it still exists, but I'm not connected to it. And then we had at the end of May, we had Saturn move into Aries, which was then saying, okay, what do you want to build? Now you're not connected. So any kind of big decisions that came up around the end of May are incredibly important, because we are moving into this 2-year phase of now that we've got the framework to build something new. As long as it is related to your authentic energy, it will be successful. You put in the work, authentic energy, and that is success.
Yeah.
So those two energies in your house of fun, we just hit a retrograde moment, which means that we've been given this moment in time for the next few months to move things around a little bit, to make little changes of what you're building, making sure that your backpack full of ghosts and shadows is getting empty, right? Like
Yeah.
the more of those that you can throw out, the better. And then at early next year, we go forward again. And so then it's like all systems go, especially for you,
Beautiful.
especially for you.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So we've got an Aquarius moon coming up think it's a new moon in Aquarius or a full moon in Aquarius. It's coming up very soon, but it's this month. Whatever seeds you plant this month, whatever things you want to work towards, specifically if it is about using your voice and being disciplined about being authentic and using your voice, that will be a huge factor in the change that comes with the eclipses next year. Because
Okay.
we're planting the seeds under that moon and they will come to fruition in February and then the eclipses will kick off. So the best way to understand eclipse energy is like if this is where you're meant to be, this is your spiritual path, and you're down here, an eclipse is going to bring enough chaos to get you up here.
Right. Okay. Yep.
But if you're
Okay.
here, you're only getting a little push. If
Yeah.
you're
Yep.
aligned, you're getting pushed forward. So the
Yep.
more aligned you can get, the more you can use the energy to push yourself forward.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So the first eclipse will be in February in Aquarius, and that's just going to kick off so much great stuff for you. So much great stuff for you. And I think I mentioned it in a message that I sent that like now is the time to build habits for you
Yep.
because you've got the way that Mars is in Virgo and your Jupiter sits in Virgo, it's this energy and your 10th house is in Virgo. So we've got masculine energy right now pushing your career forward, while at the same time you've got this amazing luck and this kind of lighter feel about creating habits, which for the rest of your chart can be really difficult to do because a lot of what you do is like it's kind of heart based. You know, you kind of follow your
Yeah.
heart and the component that requires habit building, it doesn't want a it wants let's sit down and write the
Yeah.
list,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. I
But
feel
like
that.
we've
I feel
still yeah, we've still got like another month of you being able to access that energy. So whatever you're doing, as long as you're kind of chipping away at it, then you're using that energy
that.
correctly.
Okay. Cool.
Yep. There will be, without a doubt, September will be huge for you.
Fucking
Okay.
hope so. I hope
Yeah.
so.
I look, honestly, the journey that Collingwood are on, I absolutely can't see them losing. Like nobody else's energy lines up like that. I am doing a deep dive into it. I'm halfway through it already, but I will put out a video and tell you why
Yeah.
I think that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They just, they've answered all the questions correctly. But for you, we've got a Virgo Pisces eclipse in September. And so with eclipses, you get 5 different sections. This is the middle. So when we're in the middle, it's like the biggest moment. Sort of like you go up the hill, you go down the hill. And so these eclipses started last September. So September 18th was when we started these eclipses. So around the end of September was the energy of like, here are some themes that are going to come into play. Then we had March this year where we were like, these are the people and the situations that are going to be involved in the eclipses. And so then we get to September this year and we get those things come together. So we get the themes, we get the people, everything comes together. And for you, it's happening in your house of career.
Okay.
So it will be huge. The other side of it, the Pisces one will happen in your house of family. So where I think your chart trajectory is going, family wise, is that I think it will be a positive moment. I think it will be a moment of really understanding that you've overcome a lot of the stuff that you've kind of grown up with. And that from that moment of confidence, once the Virgo eclipse hits, that's your career house. So I think
I think it will be as well. It's so funny you should say that because I've made no plans for September, like
Mhm.
no, no part-time work or anything like that because
Yeah,
I know that it was going to be I knew that it was going to be big. I just kind of felt it. I'm not going to
yeah,
make any plans because I know every day I've got to be on.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Perfect. That's following the energy, just intuitively following the energy.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. And yeah, so I think that will be huge. Then the follow up to that energy, the fourth part will be March next year.
Okay.
So, football timing wise, it all really fits in that once we get to March next year, you will be kind of ending a journey and starting a new one. You'll be ending the journey of really setting up your career based on the lessons and the healing that you've done through your family. And you'll be moving into quite literally exactly what you're going to be doing, being out there, shining the sun on your own inner belief system through your voice, through sharing your
Ooh,
authenticity with your voice. So absolutely be pushing forward. And if you want anything big to be happening, I would be aiming for September because the energy there is fully going to support any kind of change that you want to be going through. And one of the things to remember about right now is with your Aquarius energy, where it sits can be quite hectic because Saturn is kind of the big daddy, the disciplined daddy, the one who wants to know this will take time, this will take effort, this will, you need to put the work in. And then the other Aquarius placement for you is in the shame, guilt, misunderstanding. So there is like an energy right now that is trying to help you be disciplined in a way to learn how to overcome shame, guilt, and the fear of being misunderstood. Because you're
Yeah.
being Aquarius energy is fucking power right now. Because Pluto moved into Aquarius at the end of last year. And Pluto is our energy of power. And it moved out of Capricorn into Aquarius. And Capricorn is like old school, follow the rules. And Aquarius is like be weird, like authenticity is power. And so we're moving into this, and your generation is like primed for it because you are the bringers for the reasons for change. And so the more that you kind of lean into these, fuck it, I don't care. I don't care what people think of me. This is my voice. This is how I'm going to use it. The more power you actually have.
Mm,
Like you would absolutely, once you are in that moment of confidence, the way that you could convince anybody to come to the party and to help you out would be very easy.
okay. Okay. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and especially with the seventh house in Gemini, because Gemini energy is like polarity. So it's the ability in relationships to be able to see the dark and light in people. And then when you have your Leo energy, which is the sun, not only can you see the dark and light in people, but you can shine the sun in there and you can help them see whatever you want them to see. So,
Right.
like, if you wanted to be evil, you absolutely could be because you could only shine that light on their darkness
Yeah.
and only show them the dark side of themselves. So,
Mm,
you know, when you use that power for good, you can convince people to do what you want by shining the light on their light and saying, like, when we do this together, this is going to be helpful. This is going to
right.
be
Yeah.
great. And so I do what I do because all of the clients that I've had, especially like the young men, understanding their inner programming helps so much, really helps so much in being able to work through it. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to chat with you, because you're also quite open about your mental health and how that affects you. And so I guess my question for you now that I've kind of talked at you about your your energy is, how do you think the footy helps your mental health journey?
um, I think it's a good sort of outlet for everything that I sort of go through. Like when I started Swoop back in 2019, it was very much for therapy. Like, I was one of those guys one of those people that if we lost on a Friday, it would just sort of fuck me up for the weekend. So, I started it after the grand final loss in 2018. So 2019, and I used it as like, I wasn't in it for fame or money or anything like that. It was just literally talking to a camera, saying what I felt, just to get it all out of my head, so then it could clear me for the weekend. So I feel like footy, I feel like for most people as well, but I do feel like footy is escape for me, and it's nice. It's kind of like players talk about having like white line fever when they play the game, and I sort of feel that when I go to the footy and I'm there and I'm yelling at the umpires or whatever it may be, or cheering on a goal. And as soon as I get out the MCG, win or loss, like I'm fine. Like I'm back
Yeah.
to just who I am. So it's a good outlet for, I guess, like pent up energy
Hmm.
because I don't have any, when I was in bands, it was different because I can go on stage and
Hmm.
stuff like that. And it's different, doing videos. You do get that emotion out, but it's not that
Hmm.
big emotion. And that's why I use music when I'm
Hmm.
driving in the car, and use music as therapy as
Yeah.
well, because then I can drive down Sydney Road, blast out some music and sing it as loud as I can.
Yeah, 100%. I do it too. I do it too. Yeah, I think the one thing for me that's always been quite obvious is just the masculine energy component of the footy.
Yep,
Like men, women aside, like just the masculine energy, because what you're saying, I use the footy for that too. Right?
yep,
I use the footy as a way to be able to use the pent up emotions and have it come out through masculine energy, have it
yep,
come out through that yelling, screaming, cheering, like that loud kind of energy. I use it for that too. And so I think one of the beautiful things that it does is, that saying that people say women sit across from each other and men sit next to each other when they're
yep,
hanging out. And I think that just that is such a simple example of the difference between men and women and the way that they deal with their emotions. And I think when we live in this world where, especially right now, there's this very confusing time of like men needing to do all of these things in order to fix equality. But I think we lack this idea of we're still different when it comes to
yeah,
emotions. So we can say, oh, men need to be emotionally aware, men need to be emotionally intelligent. But if we think that that looks like women it's not going to look like women. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so when I think about the footy and I think about like, men just don't have, especially men born before 1990, they don't have the emotional vocabulary. They don't have the emotional intellect to know how to deal with any of those things. But you put them in a room with their mates where they can sit next to each other and yell at a ref together, and they're
Yeah.
purging out energy that they're then not going to take with them. And I
Yeah.
think that that's really important to note. I've got interesting relationship with the way that the AFLW is kind of advertised and talked about, because I don't like that it's trying to bring a little bit more feminine energy into what I think needs to be a masculine energy. And I think
Yeah.
there's a confusion in what that looks like, because I think no matter what type of footy it is, it's masculine energy. It is from masculine energy and it's made of masculine energy.
100%.
And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
when you're trying to sort of, oh well, I don't want to go to the footy because it's too loud and we need to calm that down and people shouldn't be swearing, it's sort of like, well, that's what it is.
Yeah,
That's why it
exactly right. Yeah.
exists. I think the AFLW is a completely different sport. I don't think
Yeah.
it is at all the same sport, and I don't think it should be treated as such. And so I know that, the communities that I've seen of women who do kind of have issues with some of the ways that the AFL and going to the AFL is with that boisterous kind of masculine
Yeah.
energy. And I think there is that confusion, which your generation dealt with so much, of a group of men is danger. A
Yeah.
group of men is danger. So we can't have a group of men. But the amount of times that I have been to the footy that I'm just like, this is great. Just seeing just the freedom to have feelings. I remember having a conversation and he said, there's 3 times men are allowed to cry: when their footy team wins or loses a grand final,
Mhm.
when their grandma dies, and
Yep.
when their dog dies.
Yeah.
He's like, "That's it." Those are the
Yeah.
3 moments, and I was like, that blew my mind. That just absolutely blew my mind, because I was like, "Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
so true." There's that pressure, and, like, it's starting to change, which is nice, but there is just that long-term pressure of men need to not be having feelings.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Definitely.
And I think, footy, because you can get the feelings out without talking about the feelings, I think it's a step in the right direction. And, especially watching the fan cams with Terry is huge, because you can see these people, and what he does, that's part of his journey. What he does is like allows people that platform to kind of get their
Yeah.
feelings out. And it's part of his job in this world to like help them articulate those things. And so when you're watching that, you can see the journey that these people are on, and you can see how the footy is so important for it. And when I look at that comparison again between Carlton and Collingwood, because it's my belief from what I've been down the rabbit hole in, that everybody connected to the footy club, and this is going to be very woo woo, but there is an energy connection that if you imagined that a collective of people have built the energy of the football club out of their own internal consciousness, right?
Yeah.
That gives you a connection to the journey. So with Carlton, their journey is this journey to really self-discovery through releasing these self-given responsibility for what they need to show up as.
Yeah.
Like there is this energy of like, well, we are one of the first big clubs. People see us as this. We have this very solid idea of what the Carlton brand is. And their challenge is to kind of go away from that, is to
Ah,
evolve away
right.
from that.
Yeah.
Yes. And so there is this, and so when I watch some of the fans, I'm like, you are on that journey. Like you are on that journey
You're
with them.
discovering it.
Where,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, if you watch it, especially the new generation of fans who don't understand some of the old ego, who don't understand it because they've never seen a win. And so it's these two generations coming together is that journey of kind of moving away from the old stuck in the mud
Right.
into
Yep.
this new way of going. And so, and I think that's the importance of footy as well, is it gives, especially men, but it gives people a story to follow in order to have
Yeah, it
their own
does.
feelings come out.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when I look at the Collingwood club, it's a similar thing, but the journey is different. Their journey was from like, people see us as bad or cheeky or rebellious, and we're all of these things. And some of the things that people have said about Collingwood fans and the Collingwood club, and I always think of it because I grew up in the country in New South Wales. It's that
Yeah.
kind of bad boy,
Oh, yeah,
hangs out on the corner at the pub
yeah.
every night kind of vibe. And I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
the Collingwood journey is like this, like everyone sees us as the bad boy. Fine, well, let's be the rebels. But what if we were the rebels against that energy? energy. And a lot of the people who are connected to the Collingwood
Mm.
Football Club are on this journey of overcoming some kind of assumption of darkness, assumption of ego, assumption of like rebellion, into going, well, if that's what you think, I'm really not going to pay attention and I'm just going to be myself. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yep.
and I see watching some of the fans and watching some of the things that are said by the fans of the Collingwood club, there is still, just like Carlton as well, there is that still that little bit of ego, but there is almost a pride in being the
Yeah.
rebellious weirdos.
Yeah.
And that transformation across the whole entire fan base for both sides, just watching the journey is just incredible. And I would really like to go and do it for all of the clubs because I think that that's how the clubs exist. And interestingly, it shows me that the Collingwood fans, there is a level of light and confidence that's starting to build in that authentic weirdo rebellion energy that a club like Carlton doesn't have. A club like Carlton is still very fearful of being seen different to how they want to be seen, different to how they want to wear that mask.
Uh,
And so some of the people that are on that journey in one way or another, everyone's going through that. Everyone is like, well, how do I want to show up? And can I show up authentically or will I be judged for it? And you can see that just on across all the platforms and even the people that you know, Terry and Pom. Like if you look at in the past year, the way that their kind of mask has shifted, has
yeah, they
changed a
have.
little
Yeah.
bit
Yeah.
to kind of like deal with this like past situation of ego and like what people thought I was supposed to be versus trying to become this. And watching that kind of those two things kind of disconnect as Carlton have continued to not make change. And then some of the people connected to the club and their energy story, they've started making change. And so you can kind of see that disconnect where they're like, well, this
Yeah.
club isn't looking after me anymore. This club isn't hearing my voice.
Yeah.
And
You can
it's
really see
very,
that. You can really see
yeah.
that.
Yeah. Whereas with Collingwood, and obviously wins help, but like that energy story, people have really embraced it. And with Aquarius energy being power energy, it's like people are starting to embrace their inner power. And that's where people like you, who are here to be seen, who are here to go on this journey, and you've got a North Node in Sagittarius in the first house. So that means that, like, you are somebody to be publicly seen shooting your fucking arrow into the distance and going, I'm going to go get that. And every lesson I learn along the way, I'm taking with me, good or bad.
Okay.
And it's the journey that's the important part for you, right? It's that journey of learning that's the important part for you, and that is how you kind of shift the window that people see you through, which again relates back to that Collingwood journey as well, of you can think what you want about me, but I'm going to learn who I am and I'm going to show you that regardless. I'm going to rebel against your idea of who you think I am.
Yeah. That, which is something that yeah, have been learning about over the last few years, definitely about myself, like very, very much dealing with a lot of like imposter syndrome and dealing, at one stage early on in the journey of Swoop, it was very much like trying to make everybody like me until I had that sort of realization that like not everyone's going to like you. Just keep being true to yourself,
Hmm.
and that's what I've tried. I haven't tried to be anyone else besides myself.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
there on in.
Yeah. And I think you can see that that's successful.
Hi, I'm Vykin. I'm Idris, and this is for the younglings.
For the younglings!
And what are some tips for being healthy? Well, if you want to be healthy, let's say you really want chocolate, but you also want to stay healthy. I'd recommend eating maybe like 1 or 2 bars of chocolate a day, and maybe 2 or 3 fruits and vegetables. As in like apples, oranges, and stuff. I don't know guys. If you ever want chocolate, but you want to stay healthy, it's a good idea to eat dark chocolate than normal chocolate, because dark chocolate is actually more healthier. Playing outside, it's good for your health. You could get yourself some vitamin C, vitamin D. Maybe drinking some good stuff like water, like water, and sleeping. Sleeping is very good for you. Try to sleep in on the weekends. Yeah, healthy for your soul is don't let it get out. You need to keep it inside of you, because your soul is what controls you. Peace. We out.
for the youngling.
I'm going to get my cards and give them a little shuffle and see if they've got a message for you.
Yeah, let's do it. Fucking do it.
Have you ever had anything like that before? Have you ever had any kind of
Tarot's done. I've got, I don't know if you can see, I've got the death tarot tattooed on me. Got that
of course.
after a breakup years and years ago for new beginnings.
That's so interesting. Well,
Yeah,
the death
no,
card is related to Scorpio energy, and your Scorpio energy is in your 12th house. So it's almost like you are putting on your body something to remind you of the darkness that sits inside of you that you've overcome.
I love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. Okay. So there is this energy of like there is something rolling around in your head. There's a lot of like overthinking going on about something in there.
Okay.
What is it? It's also Gemini energy, which is telling me that there's like a huge component of what's coming that is like relationship driven. Okay. Impatience here. This is you showing up. So temperance in reverse. Impatience with something that you want to happen when it comes to your emotional fulfillment here. Okay. Okay. This is great. There's like something about needing to kind of trust yourself a little bit more here. Like something you're moving forward from something, and this is like the last time that you're going to have to deal with kind of questioning yourself on this, right? But there's like an emotional pattern that's being overcome the more that you trust yourself moving forward. And it's like there's an impatience energy, like wanting something to happen, but there is a need to kind of just take it one step at a time at the moment, right? But there is forward movement here, Three of Wands. There's definitely forward movement towards something, but there's like just a reminder of make sure you just we're going one step at a time, because it's like you might have something externally happening that you want to happen faster, but the emotional balance inside needs to take a little bit more time so that you can fully accept what it is that's coming for you, which is this, which is the Ace of Pentacles, which is like the new beginning when it comes to Pentacles, which is money, which is abundance. And it's about you've put the hard work in, you've done the hard work. Here is the result of that. Okay. Yeah, and you've learned the lesson in the past of not waiting for somebody else to tell you, right? Not waiting for
Yeah.
somebody else to tell you what the right thing to do is. Yeah. This is quite literally the wheel of fortune being on your side with making money.
Let's fucking go. Fucking go.
And because that's Sagittarius energy, that's also your North Node. It's Sagittarius Leo energy. Okay. Huh. Interesting. This is what we like. There's your death card right there. So this is the
Holy
Emperor,
shit.
right?
Yeah.
Emperor, death card, High Priestess in reverse. So the Emperor, obviously king of the deck, most powerful masculine in the whole deck, someone very in charge of his life, someone very in control of his life, and who understands the difference between ego and confidence, right? This is needing you to put death to not trusting your intuition. It's like you have this,
Yeah, right.
the external part of you, very balanced, very organized. The workman side of you, what he wants to do, all of that very balanced. But there is distrust in trusting your intuition. Who's flipped here? Yeah. Okay. Pause. Okay. Okay. Okay, so the reason why you need to start practicing trusting your intuition, right, is because there are things that you can't see, right? Eight of Swords. There's things that you can't see, and not trusting your intuition is making it harder to become this Nine of Pentacles energy, which is like completely independent financially, somebody who doesn't need shit from anybody, somebody who quite literally has worked hard enough to be their own fucking person, right? But
Yeah.
there is an aspect of not trusting your intuition that's making it harder here because, Tower moment, you're like in a moment of life-changing events occurring, and there is a component that needs to trust its intuition because something is being shown to you about a dream, right? About a wish upon a star that you made. You're being shown something, but you're not being shown it in the physical world. You're being shown it through intuition. You're being shown it through probably dreams at the moment as well.
Okay.
And there is a need for you to open yourself up a little bit more for that. Because you use music, one of the great things to do is to ask a question. If you need advice on something, ask a question and then put your soundtrack on random
Okay.
and hear what the messages that come through. Pisces energy, where yours sits, is really helpful for that. But like they're trying to show you something here. Again, literally, there is money coming towards you, my friend.
Look,
This
I
is
hope that's my biggest fucking concern, money. So I
yeah.
hope so.
The King of fucking Pentacles is the king of money, right? And it's coming to you through something that emotionally fulfilling.
Okay.
So not only are we needing to kind of trust our intuition, but we also need to make sure that the focus is on joy, pleasure, and emotional happiness, emotional
Yeah.
balance. Like the money will come, the money will just come. It's a freaking chariot, honestly. The universe is on your side, my friend.
Oh, that's so reassuring to hear. I want to know, like, how do I listen? How do I follow? I don't feel like I've got intuition at the moment. Like, how do I
Mhm,
find that? How do I follow that?
mhm. So, okay, let's see. Where's your easiest way to find that? I would say that there is absolutely something in using what you already do, music and creative things. Okay. Now, intuition, like for you, your body will fucking tell you. So, in the same way that you know, oh, I need to do this training, I need to rest, I need to eat, it is a similar feeling. It would be a similar feeling in your body. Okay.
Okay.
So it's like really tapping into that, really understanding that intuitive nature of like, oh, I feel this. And one of the things, because you've got all of your placements that can be affected by people, this like absorbing thing. If you think of some times when you've been around family, when your body hasn't felt safe, like it's felt sick or it's felt heavy or it's felt just not quite balanced, that's your intuition. That is
Okay.
your intuition telling you that this isn't right. Don't be here. Something's not right. And it's just more trusting in that. One of the things that I say to men a lot is pick a period of time, pick like a month, and go, everything I see this month is a sign. And if you've heard a song in the supermarket, you get in your car, you put it on, it comes on, that's a sign. It's a sign that
Right.
you need to
Okay.
listen to the song. Or like, synchronicities with numbers as well. One of the things that I like to say is if you're seeing like double numbers, 1111, 88, 22, 44, that's something intuitive trying to show you something. So
Okay.
it's either saying like you need to sit and meditate on it, or you need to ask a question, listen to the music, but there is something that needs to be seen. But
Yeah.
tapping into your intuition, for men, it can be hard. For men, it can be hard because, masculine energy has to kind of learn it. But there is something, because Ace of Wands came out there, and Ace of Wands tells me that it is there, but something is going to need to spark it. So let's see. What can we get to spark it? Huh. I mean, yeah. That's like telling me that there is like women that you're bound to that have magic. Okay. All right. Empowerment. All right. That's also telling me that you need to start dressing in ways that make you feel powerful
Okay. I
as
get
your
that.
as your way to dress, especially when you're going and meeting with people.
Okay.
Dress in a way that makes you feel powerful. All right. What kind of energy should tap into your intuition, please? Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay, so this one's this one says, through my sacred presence, miracles manifest and hope is born. So it's this understanding of who you are to the world, right? And understanding what you give back and trusting that because what you're giving is helping people, that you have access to kind of ask the spirits for what you want, right? Which, as far as I'm concerned, with your journey and the energy that you're in right now, that's exactly what's happening. Okay. Yeah. See, you're in a moment of transition, absolutely. And part of what's happening is you are being connected to your intuition, you are being connected to your spiritual side. And that it's okay. So for you, focusing on the intention behind your manifestation, right? So bringing your dreams into reality and looking at the signs of when that's working. Okay. So because your energy is very masculine and it's like very much based in the real world, you'll be given signs of spiritual connection, right?
Okay.
So this is going to be really noticing if you've sat down and wished for something, noticing that it's coming in. And like it might not be something big, like you could start small and say, okay, I want to, I don't know, talk to this person, get an interview with this person, have a great date, meet somebody, those sorts of things. And even if you're just quickly writing them down and then
Yeah.
coming back to it and noticing that it's happening, because this is an energy that wants to show you that what you wish for is currently in the process of coming true.
I just feeling a little bit queasy. Not sure what that was, but all good now.
I'm going to say that that's a spiritual thing because
It
because
might
I'm
be.
well, because I'm a Virgo, right? So there's a saying in the spiritual world of like when you're around a Pisces and you're being connected to their energy, you kind of feel a bit spiritually floaty. When you're around a Virgo, which is the other end of the axis, and you're being connected to something, you feel physically not right.
Well, there you go.
Now I've gotten these cards out for just to do the last bit because these are the most cards I've got, and I got them in Italy off a witch who couldn't speak English, and I didn't speak
Ooh,
Italian, and she was like, "Hey, I need to give these to you." And we've since spoken in messages and stuff, and yeah, she was like, "I just knew I had to give it to you."
okay.
And every time I've done a reading with them, they're like the most exact cards I've ever known. So, okay, they're sort of saying that you went through this period of bad luck and that that's over, right? That there was a time of loneliness, there was a time of not really seeing all the pieces of your puzzle, and that it kind of slowed down your forward movement, right? And that
Yeah.
a lot of bad
Yeah.
luck kind of came in because of it. But
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
time is over, right? Now, it's
Beautiful.
also telling me that there is like almost a letter on the way to you and like some kind of news on the way to you. Um, and that letter is going to change something about you've always kind of lived the simple life, is what I'm
Okay.
hearing. You've always kind of lived the simple life, but you've been building something and it's almost turning you from the simple life to this kind of nobility. Right. So you're about to receive some kind of letter. Feel like it's written. So I feel like it's a text message or an email or something along those lines that is going to make you really kind of question, am I going to be somebody I'm not, almost in the way of I've always lived a simple life, but is this is going to give me access to this different world almost. Oh my God. I feel like you're going to have to fucking suit up more than you think.
Physically, like suit up.
Yes. Yes. Like when I'm saying wear something that feels powerful, that feels connected to this. That feels connected to
Okay.
this. Right. Yes. Okay. So there is somebody important has noticed the sincerity with which you do what you do. And you are being spoken about by people you've never met in rooms you never thought you would enter.
Oh my god.
Oh my God. And it's literally, it's coming in. You can kind of feel something happening and you're kind of preparing yourself for something, but you don't know what it is. But this is coming. This is on its way. I can see you suiting up to walk into a room that you've never been in to talk to people you've never been. This translates in Italian to I arrive, as in something incoming, as in you walking into a room as here I am.
That's sick.
Here I am. That's amazing.
Here, here I
So,
am.
get your suits ready, right?
I
Get your
will.
suits ready.
It's so funny you should
Yes.
say that as well because so next week is obviously my birthday. So next
Hmm.
Thursday, and I know that my girlfriend is going to take me to. I think we're going like clothes shopping specifically. So
Stop it.
no, yeah, so not suit shopping, but just like
Yeah,
different
but still,
pants,
yes.
different shirts, and
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
So the theme is things that make you feel powerful.
things that make
Things
you
that make you feel powerful. Yep. Yeah, see, because look, there's a comfort to the way that you are honest now, right? There's a sincerity, there's an honesty, there's a comfort within how you present yourself that somebody has noticed. And it's like they've told somebody else has watched you, and you don't even know these people. And so, I mean, get the new clothes, make sure they make you feel powerful because there is like an invitation or something on the way that it almost feels like it might not be one that you'll have a long time to plan for.
okay,
Yeah. Okay. This one translates to sudden, exactly what I was saying. Exactly what I was saying. And so it's like it's coming and it's going to feel like it's really far away, right? But I feel like you're going to have to go somewhere as well. This feels like you might have to travel because of it. And I feel like that might be the part that is a little bit fast.
okay,
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to line up with what it is that you're trying to achieve. But it feels like some kind of fast movement, like needing to be somewhere and not having as much time as you would like to prepare for it. 100% emperor on the freaking bottom, underneath the high priestess. Intuitively, you are being told about this. And so as you're asking me, how do I know what my intuition is? And it's like, that feeling that you have that something is coming. The reason that you're going clothes shopping, that is what is happening. You are being intuitively guided to do what you need to do to be ready for this to come in, to literally be ready for this to come in. It's going to seem big, it's going to seem sudden, but there is, because of the comfort that you kind of have in who you are as a person and what you've been working on, there will be an ease to it. Like it's almost you'll be standing in front of this door, needing to go into this room where there are these people who you think, how the fuck do these people know who I am? And
Yeah.
the second you step through that door, it's like there is this confidence that comes out of you because you remember who the fuck you are, basically. There's this remembering. Absolutely. Literally, the star, a wish come true. A wish come true. So,
Love
anything
that.
else? You got one more for me? Yeah, here we go. Strength. Strength, which is literally the Leo card. The
There
Leo
we
card. And on the
go.
bottom, the alien card, which is the Aquarius card, which is exactly your
Oh,
energy, right? The strength
fucking
is coming
hell.
through your authenticity. That's amazing.
Far
That's
out.
amazing. Well, my friend,
Mate,
that's
that's
amazing.
just giving me fucking like literal. I've got the
Same,
heater on right now, and I've got like goosebumps.
same, same. I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited
Far,
for you.
far. So listen to my gut, pretty much.
Listen to your gut. I think you are aligned enough that your gut is absolutely guiding you to where you need to go.
I do listen to it most of the time. I think I just have to be in tune with it.
Yes, definitely.
A lot more. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, having a feminine energy in your life that you feel like is someone that you can trust helps you open up to it, definitely. Do you know what sign she is? Do you know when her birthday is?
Her birthday is September 14.
September 14th. So she is a Virgo. Stunning. That's
Okay.
perfect for you. That's perfect for you because that, like, your Jupiter is in Virgo, like your expansion energy, your luck, the way in which you do stuff. So, and that's going to be so helpful. And that is a sign that something is fucking coming because when a Virgo comes into your life, it is the get your shit together and be ready for something energy.
Right. Yeah, because she came into my life just really quickly as well. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So that's great. And obviously she gets a Leo in her life. So that means she needs to have some more fun.
oh my god. And I'll tell you, this is just so fucking weird because so we met on Hinge and her like one of the prompts was like, what do you want out of it? Whatever it may have been. But her
Yeah.
specific answer was, I want to have more fun in life.
Yep. Yep. Virgos, knowing, because I am one, we have a really hard time finding the inner child joy.
Yeah.
And the best partners for us, and I've experienced it as well, are men that are like responsible and have a good passion and work ethic. But the most important part is quite literally that they help you have fun. They
Yeah.
help you find your inner child. And a Leo energy is so perfect for that. The access that you have to joy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's
And I definitely think she's a sign that you are definitely on your way to something as well. So that's very exciting.
far out. This is just like blown my mind.
Amazing. Amazing. Good. That's why I love to do what I do. Yeah.
Far out. No, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I've never had a tarot card reading like that before. That was
Mhm.
with all like the different decks and stuff and all fucking positive, which is good.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I always make the deal, pick up the cards, and I'm making the deal with whoever wants to give you a message that I have to tell you exactly what's said in the cards. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's not always positive. I'm not
Yeah, of
always the
course.
positive tarot reader, but like
Y-
I could tell that it was going to be positive. Where your energy is, what the astrology says is happening, how you're aligned with yourself. This was just like a nice little your spirit team being like, get ready. Like, get fucking ready. Something is
I'm
coming.
I'm down. I'm
Yeah.
absolutely bloody down for it. And I'll tell you what, I'll take you on the journey with me as well. I will
Amazing.
I will let you know as soon as I get that letter or text message or
Yes,
email.
please.
And it's
Yes.
actually, again, so funny that it's so weird. But there's this thing going on with Collingwood at the moment, and people were just emailing me like, help us. I'm like, I don't know what to do. But anyway, I emailed the president. I said, hey, there's all these members that are upset and stuff about all this stuff. They're not getting answers. Can we line up like a chat? Just me and you will answer these questions for them and stuff. And he emailed me back yesterday and said, look, let me talk to some people and sort of get back to you and see what we can do. Thanks for bringing this to my attention. So maybe, I don't know,
Mm,
maybe that's got to do with something with it as well. It could be, people talking to me that I haven't talked to before is like all the
100%.
all the board.
I mean, I feel like that situation is definitely gonna work out. As you were talking and I'm shuffling and I'm getting the, like, working on something, building something that was broken, something that needs to be kind of fixed, and then the triumph card at the end. So
Beautiful. That could be it. Could be bloody it.
yeah, that could be it. That one little message that you didn't know that you needed to send or how to send it, and that just domino affects everything. That's incredible.
Bloody hell.
Incredible.
Absolutely mind blowing. Absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah. But I really appreciate your time. I'm just so excited for you.
No, thank you. Thank you for your time. I've done nothing. I've just sat down. Like,
You
it's
made
all
yourself available, you
no,
opened your energy to me.
no, thank you. No, thank you for the I was taking a bunch of notes while I was doing this as well. So no,
Amazing.
thank you.
Amazing.
I've got things to visualize now and look at and
Yeah. Yeah.
trust my fucking gut, I reckon.
Trust your fucking gut. And when you start questioning trusting your gut, remember that like the women in your family experienced the traumatic past they experienced so that you could trust your gut,
Yeah, right.
right? Like they did all of that. You hold on to it, right? The generational curse breaker, you hold on to it and you use it for the light. Because your power is from the dark, but you are made of the sun. You can you translate the dark into the light. So trusting your gut is quite literally honoring your ancestors.
Fuck yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yep. Perfect. Well, have an excellent birthday
I will. Thank you
and
so much.
enjoy the shopping for powerful clothes.
That's it. I'm gonna shop the belt close. Thank you so much for this. I really, really appreciate
My
it.
pleasure. Have a good day.
You too. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to The Walking Tower, where I plan to continue to gently shake the foundations of your beliefs. You don't have to believe it all. I just ask that you're open enough to leave space for new truth. Because sometimes the only way forward is to let the tower fall. My mission is to get this message to whoever needs it. So like, subscribe, and share, of course. See you next week or on the socials. Stay weird.